Hey guys, what's up and welcome to a new Tesla update video. So today, as per usual, let's go over Tesla stock, let's go over the market, let's figure out what is happening and what we can expect moving forwards. And yeah, with all that being said and done, let's just get right into it. Tesla closing the day for once, we can say nicely in the green, up about 1.5%, closing out pretty much $178.74, which compared to the market with QQQ being down 1.1%, we can say it's a pretty respectable outperformance. So with all that being said, let's just discuss what this actually means, what today's price action means for Tesla moving forward into tomorrow to close off the month, of course, and of course, leading into what in theory is Tesla's best time of the year. Let's go ahead and bring out TrendSpider here super quickly, make sure I'm logged in, which I am, right? If we bring out the seasonality chart on Tesla, you can see June by far, like it's not even close, Tesla's best month. Will this be any different, or will this just be a repeat of history essentially, right? Time will tell, of course, but if you were a betting man, betting on June seems to be a winning play more often than not. So we'll see if that actually ends up holding true this time around. So with all that being said, let's just talk about it. So what does this mean? By the way, I'm not a financial advisor. I don't know if I said that. I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Don't forget to hit that like button if you enjoy. And of course, my membership section is live. The link is down below. You can access all my intraday thoughts, posts, updates, technical analysis, options flow on Tesla every single day that the market is trading. And today we had a pretty volatile day, right? There was a lot of news just in general about the markets and Tesla in general. For instance, Tesla, there was news about Tesla in China now actually, getting further and further into the whole FSD, not licensing, but rolling it out in China, potentially even starting to finally charge people in China, to literally use it the same way they do in North America and whatnot. So that's obviously bullish. Then bearish news came out about Elon testifying about the purchase of Twitter or X. And then we had overall market bearish news about this one right here, where Joe Biden has secretly given permission to Ukraine to strike inside Russia using American weapons. I mean, the word secretly here, I'd assume is used very loosely. It's, not very secretly, but we'll see. And the markets did actually puke a bit on it. You can see towards the end of the day over here, right? Nice little pukage on the markets into a nice rally as well, right? Right here, pukage into a rally. So pretty volatile day. But unfortunately, even though it was technically a volatile day, because Tesla did trade a decent range today, right? It traded all the way down to 175 almost, and as high as about almost 183, right? So very volatile day, just to give us no real direction still, right? This is kind of how sometimes it is, right? Today is just one of those days. My sold cash secured puts and my sold covered calls were on a roller coaster today, but unfortunately it didn't give us a direction. And why didn't it give us a direction? Well, because like I said, my main levels, like the main levels that I need to see breached for a move to the upside, which we did test today, almost both of them, but the upside we tested today, right? Like I said, 182, 183, we went to pretty much 182.5, got rejected pretty aggressively. Then we went all the way down to 175, but I do want to see again 173-ish or 173.5 to 173 breached to see potentially more movement down. And if we do breach 173, like I said, I think at the very least 170 to 168, if not all the way down to 163 to 160 are next, with 163 to 160 being this massive support that acted as a massive support in the past. But it can also, like I said before, potentially act as a potentially inverted head and shoulders like this. So that's obviously, something to keep in mind. But with that being said, if we go to the 1 hour chart, we do have a potential head and shoulders pattern over here setting up on Tesla, which hasn't really been nullified just yet. It could be something like this. You have the left shoulder right here. You have pretty much the head right here, and you have the right shoulder here. Not the cleanest looking head and shoulders pattern, I'll be honest. I wouldn't put too much weight into it. But the way you want to look at this, it kind of makes more sense, I guess, is simply, well, if we break below that 173-ish level, like I said many, many times, you can see if I put a simple line like this, you can see how many times we've held this area for the past ever since last week, Wednesday, roughly, right? We've been constantly bouncing off this area. So what happens if we start closing below this candle and, for instance, closing a 1 hour candle below this rough level, which again is about that 173 to 173.5-ish range? Well, at the very least, we come down to probably somewhere around this 170 over here to this 168-ish level over here, like we did all the way back over here, right? So just, it's just simple levels like that, right? And again, if we lose that, what happens next? Well, we come down to the next level, close to the low 160s, right? So it's really just that simple. So, keep that in mind, right? Sometimes it really can be that simple to kind of, watch this unfold and really just wait for that level to kind of determine where it really wants to go. The MACD is kind of all over the place again, kind of still technically bearish, but not too bearish, right? It's almost as if the MACD doesn't really know where it wants to go, right? But again, I don't want to sit here and pretend like I know where it's going to go next. I don't know where it'll go next. But what I do know is the fact that if those levels get breached, we most likely, there's a very damn good chance we continue in that respective direction. And in my opinion, this does just simply require a game of patience. It's good for someone like me that sells options, getting this essentially sideways action. But, if you're someone that's, impatient, or you're just, you really want to, I don't know, just do a move, or you just constantly to trade, it's probably not very good for you, right? You're probably losing money trading this chop right now, unless you're just really, really good with being in and out, in and out, in and out. And you're, very, I don't know, professional, I guess, about it. But, this is one of the scenarios that it just requires patience. It really just requires some patience, because at the moment, it's just really not giving us any obvious direction as to where we're going to go next, right? Let's take a look at the weekly candles here really quickly, which will, of course, close tomorrow, right? The MACD is still nice and bullish looking, right? The RSI is still neutral, in my opinion. The stochastic is still bullish, but it is, again, slowly flattening out. Let's go over to the monthly candle, because there's only one day left in this month as well. Tomorrow's the last day of the month as well, right? So we got some work to do here, but you can see here, right? The stochastic on the monthly, right? You can see it's still bearish, but it's also curling to a more neutral state right now. And once these curls start to happen, potentially we even get a bullish crossover in the coming months, potentially, right? Which could be very bullish for Tesla as well. But, there's still a lot of work to be done. That's not going to happen, in my opinion, at least, anytime too soon, right? The MACD is still, unfortunately, bearish on Tesla on the monthly candles as well. So this definitely needs a lot of work to really start to flip bullish, right? It'll take several months, or just an extremely bullish month to really flip this to the bullish favor, right? But, there's still a lot of work to do on the monthly candles. So again, the way I look at it is pretty simple, right? It requires patience, right? Again, I know that's probably not what some people want to hear. They would just want to be like, okay, well, is it going to 190 or is it going to one? I don't know. I don't know for sure. But again, patience is required, in my opinion, and just let the price dictate it. Let the price tell you the story, and it'll just take sometimes it just takes time. But pretty much this morning we had a massive gap up, went right into overbought territory, got rejected pretty aggressively right into it, went back right into neutral state, and we pretty much are closing right around that neutral state on the 1 hour chart, right? The daily chart is also right around that neutral state. We're not overbought, we're not oversold, we're just kind of chilling right in the middle. Same with the weekly, right? We're just kind of chilling right in the middle, but below the white line, below that rough 20-day moving average, we'll say. Right, so on the weekly, we're right below it. The daily, we're right above it. We did print actually a doji candle today, right? That is important to note, a doji candle all the way up here. But all that really signals to me in this scenario is indecision, because we're not really in an uptrend short term, but we're not really in a downtrend short term. We're in a very sideways trend. So this just further indicates to me, at least, that there's just a lot of indecision right now happening with Tesla stock. Almost like the stock just genuinely doesn't know where it wants to go next. So we'll see how that plays out. NVIDIA selling off a little bit post-market. That's just kind of interesting. But yeah, I don't know. Tesla's been really good at inversing the markets lately. Usually when the markets are red, Tesla's green. Usually when the markets are green, Tesla's red. And maybe if the markets start correcting even further, maybe Tesla can finally actually do something and go up for once, like an actual up direction for once, and get out of this trading range. But again, I'm in a pretty 50-50 spot here, right? I don't really think Tesla's necessarily bullish or bearish. I guess technically slightly more bearish until it breaks this green line, which is about that 182, 183-ish level, give or take, of course. But yeah, that's kind of the idea here. Now let's go over to options flow. Options flow gives us a little bit of a better story. Throughout the day, we had a lot of calls come in. Towards the end of the day, we had a lot of puts come in. But the thing that I noticed the most with what is happening with options flow today is a lot of the options flow, whether it's puts or calls, is very short dated. It's literally for tomorrow, a lot of them, or most of them are for next week. And you can see here a lot of 6/7s, right? June 7th, right? That's literally next Friday. So there's nothing of a sustained move coming in here. I mean, you had a bunch of calls come in not too long ago over here. So this was kind of interesting. I guess this came in not too long ago. Or I guess like more in the afternoon, where we had some, nice calls come in, right? 700K, 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 right? It's about pretty much 2 million in premium roughly, right? But, it's for 2026 of December. So it's 300 strikes. So it's extremely out of the money, but it is also like, quite far out, right? It's December 2026. That's a long damn time, right? You also have a 500 strike coming in here, 100,000 in premium, 500 strike, 2025 of June. So a year out. So there's a lot of time on these, but that's pretty damn out of the money, right? So we'll see how that plays out. But all in all, a lot of this, the point I'm trying to make here is a lot of it's short dated. Like the most of them today have been short dated, again, this week or next week. So it tells me that whichever direction they're going into, it's not really going to be a sustained rally or a sustained drop. But don't forget, we had a lot of cash you could put, like I mentioned yesterday, for, I think it was next Friday, for 170. So clearly whales don't think it'll go much lower than 170 by next week, which I can see. And on top of that, if you look at Cheddar Flow here, which by the way, I have a link to both of these options flow platforms down below with a discount if you would like to use them yourselves. But for Cheddar Flow, I'm looking at sold options, right? This is bought options I'm looking at here. Here I'm looking at sold options, right? So pretty much everything you see is that's green is a cash secured put. Everything you see that's red is a covered call, right? But the reason I bring this up is because we had two things that came in that I guess of notes, if you will, right? Down here around, what time was this? Around 11 a.m. this morning, we had a 2.2 million cash secured put, $200 strike. So it is, well above us. So that's pretty bullish in my opinion, July 19th. So they clearly think that either A, well, Tesla is going to be above 200 by July 19th, and or they're willing to buy and just take in this premium regardless at 200, but obviously plus the premium, right? So, they'll have to be, as long as Tesla is pretty much around 170, they win this trade. On top of that, they also had a 1.2 million cash, or rather covered call come in today as well, right? Not too far after that, September 20th, 200 call as well, covered call. So this guy clearly thinks that it's not going to go above 200. So someone's probably, it seems like whales are thinking that Tesla for the next while is going to be range bound between 170 and about $200 per share. That's what the whales are telling me right now, right? With these covered calls, with these cash secured puts, they don't think it'll go below 170, but they don't think it's going to go much higher than 200. So we just get a range bound Tesla between 170 and 200, that 30-point range, which in my opinion is a pretty big range. That's a lot of room to play around with, right? That's pretty much this whole range, right? Go ahead and here. Pretty much this whole range right here. They think it'll be pretty much range bound right around this general area for the next month or so. So we'll see how that plays out. We'll see if they're actually accurate about that or not. But that's kind of the information I have today, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know what you think down below. If you enjoy these kind of information, if you enjoy these kind of videos or whatever, this is essentially the kind of information I share with my members down below in the description. You get the membership section, of course, for just $3 a month. So definitely would love to see you there. But yeah, with all that being said and done, that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. And of course, I'll see you for the next one. Peace.